Hello, welcome with a new poem from modern poetry, and this time we're discussing one of Ezra Pound's poems, which is Gypsy. Ezra Pound, the Gypsy. The Gypsy, okay, when we're talking about Gypsy, we have to know that the Gypsy in here is different from the Gypsy al-Ghajar that known in Iraq. That's because Gypsies in Iraq or Gypsy tribes in Iraq are different from those, or perhaps they're the same in other countries. But we're discussing the poem. What's the meaning of the word gypsy, and is it related to the lines? There should be a relation between the title of the poem and the content. Okay. Let's go through the questions, and after that we try to answer these questions, and then we focus on the main question or the main topic in the they conveyed in the poem. Okay. You can hear the roaring sound of the plane. Yes. And question one: who is the gypsy in the poem? Who is the gypsy in the poem? Question two: what's the personality of the gypsy? That is the gypsy that traveler one, or that gypsy those who make tricks, or just like circus people, just like clowns or jesters, or those jugglers. What's our gypsy is personated to witchcraft or what? And yes, question two: what did the poet, Ezra Pound, sure, and why did the poet choose animals like apes, birds, and caravans? Caravans, if you go to the dictionary and check the meaning of the word caravan, you'll find it originally it was used for just the pack of camels traveling in line, moving in line. One after the other is caravan. Nowadays, caravan is used for vehicles moving one after the other. Three, what is the function of the top and the valley? The top of the mountain. The word valley is used in top of the way, and then, yes, the top. So what's the meaning of the valley, and why is it employed in the poem? Valley, yes. And question four: do you think the weather change has a meaning? That the weather changes, the climate changing in the poem, is it meaningful? Is it related to the whole meaning of the poem? Is it related to the content or what? Question five: as you know in the poem, before we are moving to question five, that for the weather change, when there is a mist, particularly in the middle, the poem really that starts from the top and then goes down. So the climax perhaps, or the middle of the poem, there's a change in the weather. That wind blows and rain falls, and the mist fills the surroundings, and trees are covered with the fog, okay, in the valley. The question five: do you think that mist and the gray, as you know, that mist is just like a white color or just foggy color, and gray is some sort of black, and it's mixture between white and black. Are related? Do you think that these two colors are related? I think they're related. Yes. 6. Who are the half castes? Half castes. And who is the fellow? As you know, that Yes, and as you know that half castes, these are people. And fellow is a person, fellow. So what are the personalities of these individuals? Who are they? I mean, as you know that this poem is somehow related to America, or perhaps the mosaic or the texture of the American society. And so this poem is somehow related to racism there. And who are the half castes? And who are who is the fellow? Look, fellow. Mm-hmm. 7. What is the importance of the names? Do you think that he used some names just like Aris, just like Bioker, and just like Rhodes and Saint John at the end? Or the name of the place, Clermont. Do you think that these names are mentioned randomly? I mean that indeliberately or deliberately? He meant them or what? And he himself, Ezra Pound, focused on something that there should be a relation to every word to the whole poem. I mean that there should be a relation between every particular or each word in the poem to the whole poem. And as you know, yes. And here that, okay, let's explain some of the hymns, or I mean that as I think, or as I just connected this poem to the other poems, the poet Ezra Pound written. And I mean that he wrote the poems, and I connected the words and the meanings of the other poems to this one. A gypsy is the person who tells the future. I mean that person who can predict what's going to happen in the future. And gypsy's job is to read just like palm reader or soothsayer in all times, or I mean that fortune teller. Look, gypsy is a person who tells the future or works as a fortune teller. And if we say that gypsy's job is just like this, then who is the gypsy in the poem? It seems that the gypsy is the poet himself. Ezra Pound works as the gypsy in the poem. And there is some element of drama in the poem. I mean that person talking to the poet. That person seems to be the fellow, or the brown upstanding fellow. This person is different or unlike the half castes. And this person asks, okay, have you seen any of our lot? In this question, any others, okay, others mean people. And seen is related to sight, to the eyes. And the word lot. Lot, it means that it is the lock. So this proves that this is right. He is a fortune teller, the word gypsy. Or lot, it means land. And any of our people in the lot, in the land, it means our native people, the native. I mean that the person asking or questioning, asking about the people from his own land. And have you seen, it means that, as you know, that the poem starts with that as if they reach the end of their walk, the top of their walk. And that the fellow, a brown person, asks the gypsy poet, have you seen any of our lot? This is a dramatic element in the poem. So there's a conversation, a dialogue between the poet and the fellow person. I mean that the fellow. And this reminds me of the poet in another poem. He called called the Red Indians, the red blood, or fellow people, just like they've got the same blood. And this idea, I mean, that some of the new colonists, when they first traveled to America, they called themselves, they've got red laws, just like the Red Indians. As if it's just like to, I mean, that when they indulged themselves in the new society and they want to blend the Red Indians to the newcomers to America and to make one society, to make one people, okay? And another one is apes. Okay, ape, okay, animal, and bird is an animal. As you know that the Native American tribes, some of them call themselves the apes, or others they call themselves the birds, or different other things. For example, eagles, lions, they call themselves with different names, with different just like animals, and even they always wore masks of animals to get themselves just like invoking the spirits of these animals to help them and give them power. But look, there's another meaning to the word ape, which is a savage human, savage or primitive one. So mainly this word ape refers to native Indians. Birds, it is the word for investors. Investors, I mean that people manipulate or people just hoax people or hoards the others. I mean they may use the others or use the treasures of the others. I don't know that birds perhaps refer to the invaders. I don't know. Just assumption. It's just assumption. But we are not talking about animals. We're talking about people. We are talking about people. That the poet Ezra Pound, he referred to people rather than animals. And let's go to another. The weather change. Do you think that the weather changing has meaning in the poem? Yes, it has a lot of meaning. The change of the weather and the falling of fog refers to the world of the spirits. It happens a lot when people invoking the spirits. There will be a whirl or just like a hurricane of spirits coming from the world of the spirits in order to help the invoker or the person who they pronounce the spell or something like that or ask the help of these spirits. And half castes and it means the white people and people coming from different origins, people coming from different races. They're not pure. They're not pure. So these are the people immigrating to America, perhaps from the different countries. They are not native Indians, not the indigenous people. And the fellow is the Red Indian. The fellow and considered to be brother to the Gypsy. A brother to the Gypsy. Yes. And Clermont, now we come to the meaning of some of the names mentioned in the poem. Clermont is a name given to different places. The many places in America given the name Clermont. So, at the end, Clermont refers to America itself. Refers to America. And Aries and Biochars are the wisest spirits. That's because the word is gray. And Saint John is a sacred name. And represents Christ. And the caravans, as we mentioned before in the questions, refer to the camels. And camels are found in the east. And there is a belief in Bible that the resurrection of Christ would come, and the second coming or the return of Christ will start from the east. That Christ is going to resurrect, is going to reappear from the east. So the caravans refer to the coming of the coming of people from the east. Yes, yes. Dear students, at the end of this poem, or before we finish this discussion, let's go through the most prominent concepts or the most accepted concepts analyzing this poem. Then we went through the general meaning, which is that the poet reached in his work or at the top of some place, and then he was asked by his fellow friend about whether he could see any of his friends, and there was a change in the climate in that valley, and fog clouded the trees. Then he was asked another time whether the poet could see any of the others with apes and birds, and he said that I saw, and the poet could see people just descending or coming down from the fur of Saint John, the fur of Saint John. That the observance, or just like a place market, or the place of justice of Saint John, and were caravans coming down. Okay, but there weren't any apes or birds. This is the general meaning. And let's go through the most prominent topics or concepts discussed, or just what one can analyze the poem with. At first, Darwinism. As you know, that Darwin said that humans and apes descended from the same origin. And in this poem, we can see the word ape. Then, do you think that it's enough to analyze the whole poem on this one concept? Okay, ape, and the word we reached the top of the walk means that humans in their evolution reached their final stage of development and improvement in their physiology and in their mind, and that's why they're distinguished from the other creatures. From the other, just like the apes themselves, or the birds, or the other creatures. And then if we say that, okay, this is what we call Darwinism, and perhaps that the upstanding fellow is that just like the ape originally, and then that the right stature refer to the humans when they first evolved, and they became the masters of the other creatures, or the masters of creation. And then let's see that whether that's enough or not. Perhaps it is just like, okay, there is a touch of Darwinism, but we cannot depend on the concept of Darwinism to analyze the whole poem. At the end, when he says, I saw a lot of the others descending from St. John's fur, this refers to Adam's fall. It means that when Adam came down or fell from the heaven, and with him he carried the whole generations or caravans of humanity. It means that Adam is the origin of the humans, and so Adam, when he said that the others, means that the poem as if Ezra Pound meant Adam came down from Saint John, and then and here that Saint John means Christ himself, Jesus. So this is what I mean, that as if the poet started with Darwin's theory and ended it with biblical theory of Adam's fall. It's still accepted. And okay, if we came to the races, we have birds, apes, and brown fellow, half caste, the caravans. All these are humans. So these are races. We said that the apes are the savages, the birds are the investors, the half caste, or what we call the mixture, the mixture blood, or people that came from different origins, and the caravans are just the camels or people coming from the east, and even the names the gray and the Saint John, these are names or So we're talking about different races, and this is really the mosaic or the texture of the American people. And then he started with races and gathering them into one poem as if he is calling for pluralism and diversity, accepting the other. But it seems that there's a question. The fellow friend asking the gypsy to tell him the future about whether his tribes, the birds and the apes, were going to, or would be predominating in the future or not. When he said that apes and birds in the future, he said that there won't be any apes nor birds. There will be just the caravans. So who are the real caravans? And they analyzed the poem, and just like who are the caravans? So people, we said, previously we just said that these caravans represented the new generations that the generations or the succeeding generations, one after the other, are sons and daughters. That people coming from Adam, children of Adam. Or if we say that no apes nor birds, so who are the caravans? And coming from St. John's place. St. John is Christ, and these caravans coming from from Jesus' place. It means that people coming from the east, or that Jesus coming with people with him. It means the return of Jesus. So an assumption, okay? And after all this, the poet wants embodied in this poem the idea of the shaman poet. Shaman poets are just like a group of poets, that started their work and imagined themselves to take the spirituality of the indigenous people to say poetry as if they were spiritual or sacred people, just like shamans, and just like wall women, just like others. And so the poet Ezra Pound is the shaman one in this, and shaman is related to the title, which is Gypsy. We discussed a lot of things in here, and I hope that you got the advantage, and you should. Thank you very much, and wait us with another with a new explanation to another poem. Thank you very much, and goodbye.